Okay, so this video is a look at 1966 Batman the movie. I have a strange relationship with the 60s Batman TV show. I loved it as a kid as it was a living comic book and had all the gadgets and villains from the comics. Then I was embarrassed by it as a moody teenager, as I wanted Batman to be dark and brooding. And now as an adult I've gone full circle and I'm back in love with it. One of the best things to come out of it was the spin-off Batman the movie. They made the film after completing the first season, with the aim of selling the show overseas, now that everyone had seen the film version. This meant the cast were comfortable with their roles, as they'd been playing them for a while. The only exception was Catwoman, as the TV Catwoman, Julie Newmar, was unavailable at the time. So Lee Meriwether played the part in the film. She does a great job, and you can't tell she's the newbie of the group. I think the film is a masterclass in how to make a Batman film without it being swamped by the villains. I always think the 1989 Batman film should have been called The Joker, as he was the main character in it and had the majority of the screen time, and he was the only villain in it. It got worse as the sequels progressed, and they had more than one villain in them. The 1966 Batman film has 4 top villains: the Joker, the Penguin, Catwoman and the Riddler. And yet it doesn't feel like it's their film. There's still plenty of screen time for Batman and Robin, and even Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson. Of course, it does help that most of the villain scenes are together, but Catwoman and the Penguin do go off and do their own thing a few times too. You also get all the main Bat vehicles in the film: the Batmobile, Batcopter, Batboat, Batbike with Robin sidecar, and even the Penguin Polaris submarine. That's unlike the recent Dark Knight trilogy, where you only get one vehicle per film. The Batmobile in Part 1, the Batpod/Batbike in Part 2, and the Bat/Batcopter in Part 3. There's also a great fight scene where Bruce Wayne, not Batman, fights his way out of the villain's lair through all the villains. It's one of the most violent action scenes ever put in a kid's film. They never made a sequel to it, but I like to fantasize which villains I'd like to have seen in it if they didn't reuse the ones from the first film. Straight away, I think the first one would have been Mr. Freeze. If they pushed it to 5 villains in Part 1, I think they would have used him as they used him a lot in the TV show, even though it was played by a different actor each time. Next, I'd like to see the Mad Hatter, as he was in some classic episodes from the TV show, like the one where he's after Batman's cowl. After that, it's mostly one-shot villains, so I'd like the other 2 to be the Bookworm and Egghead, as I like both Roddy McDowall and Vincent Price who play them. But I think they would have used King Tut, as they used him a lot in the show, even though I was never a fan of it. Who would you like to have seen in Batman the Movie 2? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so that was a look at the great 1966 Batman the Movie, and hopefully you'll join me on another video sometime.